boys. How's it going this evening? I'm just sitting here, musty room, looking at pictures of teddy bears.
That's literally what this sounds like. You just set the mood perfectly. Like, if you were in a room by yourself looking at pictures of teddy bears, this is the song that plays in the background.
What would you do though if you like walked in and like one of your friends just
Doing that?
looking at pictures of teddy bears? You're like, bro, you okay? Like,
How are things at home, man?
this is a little pedo-y.
I mean, it's beyond pedo-y. It's like full-fledged, like, we should probably have an intervention. Like, I have questions. Yeah. How are things at home, Dave? Not good, man.
Okay, boys. We're back up in this thing.
One more
in for another riveting rendition of the White Boys podcast.
Yes, it is. It always is.
I'm one of your hosts, Lord Gerald.
I'll call you the Lord from now on.
The Lord.
I'm Zach Edward. You know us. Yeah, but if you would like to know us more, you can find us on social media at WineBoysPod. That's WineBoysPod. Boys, hear our plea. Our YouTube page needs subscribers. It's lacking. Severely. It's audio only. I know. Listen, one of us has a child. The other of us has a internal condition, which is going to be, no excuses, play like a champion. I get it. But you need to do us a favor, boys. I know there's 100 of you out there. Go out there, smash that subscribe button on YouTube. So just go to youtube.com, search the Wine Boys podcast, so we can actually make a URL so we can tell you where to go. Yep.
Search the wine.
Just search the Wine Boys.
You'll find several of our back catalog out there. And also we upload new episodes.
Every week, new episodes on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify. Basically, wherever you get your podcasts, you'll find us. Yeah, we'll serve you hot and ready. Yes, I'm at the Zach Edward on Instagram and Twitter, and I have nothing else to say.
Wow, I'm at Lord Gerald on Instagram and Twitter. Boys, we love you. Hi, I'm Gerald.
And I'm Zach.
And we are the Wine Boys. Hey, boys. Slut Walk 2020. Boys.
2020.
Right,
Is that the new thing?
Yeah, Slut Walk 2020. What's good?
What charity is it for?
These nuts. So,
We're going to get canceled.
okay.
Yes.
Tonight, we have a wine. It is a French Chardonnay. My French is terrible. Forgive me. I took one semester of French in community college, so...
We're trying to turn you on to some stuff.
Hold me closer, Tony Danza. All right, you want to pull this up and see if we can find it?
Oh, we'll find it.
Okay.
I don't want you to murder a beautiful language. Like
It's like
really
your ass with silk.
Yes, it's so beautiful. Like I thought about taking French because I was so interested in just the way it sounds.
So tonight we've got a French white. It's a Chardonnay, 100% Chardonnay, and I'm gonna butcher this name, so please forgive me. Pouillies. Fuck. But it's Louis Jadot. It's a 2018 Chardonnay. Yeah. Back of the bottle reads. Oh fuck. Okay. Appellation d'origine contrôlée. Okay, origin. Produced in the Mâconnais region of Burgundy.
Why do you have
Mâconnais.
Why do you have to add so much to it? Like
you gotta add like
yeah.
You gotta do that.
That's not French though. That's Spanish.
Nah, that's French. Where they do they don't do that in Spanish.
Well, they roll R's. So I guess
Yeah. produced in the Mâconnais region of Burgundy. This famous wine is partially barrel fermented with 6 months aging in French oak casks.
All right.
So grape, it's 100% Chardonnay.
Like it.
Flavor, fresh honey with white flower aromas with elegant and rich flavors. One of the purest expressions of this typical Burgundy grape. Pairing, roasted salmon, shellfish, or creamy cheeses.
Ooh, creamy. So like a brie would probably go well with that.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
A brie.
nice brie cheese. All right, so this wine is a 90-point wine.
Bang.
Yeah, it's a good boy.
Good boy.
French Chardonnay, average price between $24.99 and $26.99. It is a vintage. This is a vintage 2018.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Nice young boy in the spring of its youth.
Yes, a nice young boy, right? And he is the apple of my eye, the fruit of my loins.
Yes.
You're going to get light but slightly bold, dry, very dry, and right in the middle between soft and acidic notes. All right? You're going to get oak and butter, apple, pear, and then you're going to get citrus notes, most predominantly lemon. This is denoted as a very fruit-forward, citrus-based wine with touches of apple and a beautiful butter finish.
Ooh, okay.
I enjoy a nice buttery Chardonnay from time to time. Not oaky, buttery, though. Here we go. Come on, put it in my... Ooh, wow.
There we go. Done that once or twice.
Yeah, that's how you get somebody pregnant.
You goddamn right.
Yeah, I got a baby upstairs. Your baby's walking, man. That's
I know.
Scary.
Listen, man.
What's your thoughts? I mean, now you're a dad with a walking daughter. The walking daughter.
Time flies.
Saying she's been on this earth for a year. I mean, it's weird.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, I got a sick cat at home, so like that's my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
I'm nervous that thing's gonna die, and I can just imagine it's like, what if I have a kid?
Yeah.
Like how paranoid I am about a cat.
I mean, especially as your kid is supposed to outlive you.
Yeah.
So like
your cat is not, but also you don't want your cat to die super young either.
Yeah.
So it's like
I'll just take that away. Take me away.
This is very clean. Ah, shit! I forgot to put it on the gram.
God damn it!
Sorry. I'll hit you back on the second time.
We'll just take a picture of the wine and the wine and the boys.
The wine, the boys.
We got a French ass wine. Just snap a flick of that real quick.
Yeah, the pageantry, the wine, the boys.
So, but also like just living out here, realizing that all these other boys are out here having premarital sex against the Lord's wishes. Like, I ain't with that shit, man. No, I'm joking.
I ain't about that shit. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be funny though if we like took like a hard turn into like Christianity, like this podcast, and I was like, listen,
and we just built a mega church.
Yeah, and I was like, listen, I've only had sex, I've only ejaculated 3 times in my life.
Both of time, 3 times with your mother.
Time number 1, I was 13 years old. It was a dream. It was a mistake. I talked to the Lord about it. We good. Second time, my wedding night. Third time, conceive my child. And then we get like a angry email or a Facebook message from some woman like, I had sex with him 10 years ago.
And it's just
I didn't ejaculate, so it doesn't count.
No good.
I like that.
Yeah.
I practice semen retention. And then she's like, he came on my stomach. And I'm like, bitch, that was the Holy Spirit. That wasn't me.
That wasn't me.
All right, let's try
French
this
AF.
one. French as fuck.
Yeah. So.
All right, let's try this.
Let's
see. Ooh, cheers. That's buttery.
Ooh, this is good.
This is very good. Mm-hmm. This is a very good one.
You really get what you pay for, boys, let me tell you.
Yeah.
You want to impress a lady, you better,
pull out some pool lily.
Yeah, you better pull out some pool lily.
I wish I could pronounce this right, but, strictly for the pool lilies. I'm with it.
This is strictly for my pool lilies.
Strictly for my pool lilies.
Here's the thing, though.
Actually, write that down. There's the episode title.
Strictly for my pool lilies.
For my pool. Shouts out to the pool lilies.
I think openly believe that even though I can't pronounce it, if it tastes good, I mean, I fucks with it. By the way, this pen is dead.
God damn it. It was left uncapped by somebody.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Are you tossing shade right now?
No. I'm just saying someone left it uncapped,
No cap.
No cap. We don't have a pen down here.
The fuck are we doing?
Just going to have to
The fuck are we doing?
that. Just write it in your phone or something.
Strictly for my poo lilies?
Strictly for my poo lilies.
All right, I got you, dog. But anywho,
we might finish this bottle.
I think so. I'm trying to get drunk tonight, so.
Well, this is the first really good wine we've had together in a while.
Well, we haven't been together. I don't know.
We haven't.
Yeah, it's been 3 months stuck at home. Really like 100. Really, it was like 100 days.
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah, of very, very minimal movement. I mean, I think I left my house 8 times total.
Jesus.
Yeah, and it was and probably 7 of those times were doctor related.
Yeah.
The other 1 time is I don't know. I probably wanted cereal. And I'm just I was like, I can't fuck Corona.
I need Honey Nut Cheerios.
No, it was one of those stoner moments where I was just Lucky Charms sounds really good right now. And Corona can't stop me from getting some magically delicious in my life.
Who's gonna stop me?
Who's gonna stop the Rona? I mean, it's really good.
All right, so
Corona's still playing with everybody's emotions. I think it's definitely on the mend, but also it's they still won't open gyms and shopping malls.
Yeah, and it's weird, and especially because, I mean, my theory is
the most socially distant place in the world is a mall.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, sure.
Yeah, unless you go into a Hollister, which
Jesus,
I don't know. I don't remember the last time somebody or a Build-A-Bear workshop. Just avoid those 2 stores. You're fine.
Honestly, as long as you don't go to Build-A-Bear on a Saturday, usually you'll be okay.
Or ever.
That works too.
You realize they make those kits. You can just get them at home now.
You can.
Yeah.
You can.
What's the point of maybe your kid wants the pageantry of a birthday party at a Build-A-Bear workshop, and it's just we're gonna do it at the house.
Or the lady fucking the stuffing into this teddy bear, she puts it on the thing and just then it fills it up. You want it with more or less stuffing?
I'll take it with medium.
I like it extra firm.
I can't keep watching you do this. I'm sorry. I know you don't like your job, but please don't make me feel uncomfortable about this. There's speaking of making people feel uncomfortable, let's talk about people getting canceled. I mean, this is it. We have come to a place in society where if we had Twitter in 1996, everything would be different. The riots wouldn't have happened in L.A. No, I'm just kidding.
No, they would have happened.
Absolutely would have happened. They would have been voiced first, and then they would have been done. The thing what I'm talking about in particular, Twitter canceling has been so turned up to 100 over the last couple of weeks, and they're attacking my 2 favorite things, which are comedy and professional wrestling. Now, what I've read is a lot of terrible shit.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's very high-powered individuals in the comedy world. It's oddly enough guys in the professional wrestling world that are living a gimmick that involves kind of being a sleazeball.
Yes.
And it's he's just living the gimmick, and it's just buddy, but she was 16.
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah. Now, one of your faves, our faves in particular.
Oh, God.
Joey Ryan.
Oh, God, I didn't want to talk about this.
So what exactly happened?
Okay, there's a few independent wrestlers, female independent wrestlers, who have come out and basically said that they either had dated or had got together with Joey Ryan, and he had been verbally abusive, very, it's just inappropriate in general. But mostly the verbal abuse. Yeah, the verbal abuse was really the big issue.
Okay.
And he would just try to lure people away from, arenas to do things with them. He did a lot of stuff in the UK, which this is the argument I've been seeing online a lot, which is not a great merit argument of the age laws are different in the United Kingdom.
Okay, so these are girls that would have been underage in the United States.
16-year-old girls. Yeah.
Okay.
Not just him, but like a handful of wrestlers. Now, people have chalked it up to, lads just being lads, just boys being boys.
Being boys.
Talking about pussy, going on riverboat gambling trips.
Okay.
Boy stuff.
16 is young.
16 is weird.
16 is too young.
That then becomes an assault issue.
No, but here's a
Statutory
question.
rape, that's another issue. Like,
how old was Joey Ryan at the time?
these allegations, so he's almost 40 now. So I mean, these allegations are stemming back to like 2015 to 2014. So he's still like in his 30s.
No.
Yeah.
No. So if he's 40, you're talking 2015, 2013. That means he was
these
in his Yeah, no.
The timestamps of these conversations and the things that are being posted, a lot of them have been, some of them have been skewed. And I'm not going to be sitting here pretending like I know all the facts.
Okay.
What I know and what I've read is that his he's been released from a professional wrestling promotion, Impact Wrestling. So he's been released from there. A lot of his independent dates are being taken away. I mean, he's getting blackballed as we speak. And it's not just him. There's been like a dozen wrestlers now that have been like called out, including Matt Riddle, who is like a big time star in WWE right now.
Yep.
And how a woman is basically saying that he's been, cheating on his wife in the past. And there's a lot of,
Now, can you cancel a man for cheating on his wife, though?
You can try really hard to.
I mean, I just look at something like that, though, and I'm just like, okay, did he coerce anybody? Was anything forced? Was it...
It's just the thing, like I said, this is the court of public opinion. So this is a literally he said, she said situation.
Okay.
All of these are. Until we get defined merit.
It's still like but when you get to like adultery, it's like, okay, he cheated on his wife.
But it's a lot of UK wrestlers, a lot of guys from that circuit, that are getting called out for this stuff.
But still, like, he cheated on his wife. Did he
don't
force the woman to do anything? Did they say that?
This is allegedly. We're back. Okay. We're back to allegedly.
Yeah, in allegedly land.
Yeah, I'm back in allegedly land where the lines are short.
So it's weird. Like, okay, Joey Ryan, with them saying that he was verbally abusive, physically abusive.
I don't think physically abusive was ever said.
Coercing underage girls.
Yes, coercing for sure. Using his using the gimmick, really.
Yeah.
For people, for boys that don't know who Joey Ryan is, do a simple YouTube search. He's very easy to find.
Yes.
He's literally he's working a gimmick that is just him playing. It's almost like he's playing a 70s porn star.
Yes.
He greases up his chest with baby oil before he gets in the ring. He's
very hairy,
very floral, pretty tights.
Yep.
Blues and yellows and sunglasses and a lollipop.
Yep.
We went to a show. Joey Ryan was there.
Oh my God, it was great.
Took the lollipop and put it right in my friend's mouth.
He did.
Yes, he did. And my friend
Out
was
of
like,
his mouth?
Yep. And my friend acted like a little schoolgirl next to his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And he started freaking. He goes, Joey Ryan put that on my mouth. And now you think about coronavirus. And
I know. I was going to say, like,
God.
hindsight being 2020, that's just irresponsible.
That was just last year. I mean, geez.
Yeah, it
just
was.
1 year ago, we were in a VFW with another man, oil-chested.
Oiled to the gills.
Oiled to the gills with just copious amounts of baby oil, taking a lollipop and sticking it into another man's mouth. Tell me professional wrestling isn't the best thing you've ever seen.
Oh, it's incredible.
Find me something you watch, I'll tell you why it's worse.
How much do you want to bet that coronavirus may have started in that VFW hall in Binghamton, New York that night?
I mean, it's a legitimate soup kitchen in there. It was horrible.
Yeah, and you see people from many walks of life.
Had a very ramen-y smell, like chicken ramen in particular.
Yep.
Yeah.
You see a lot of men with
My favorite part are the fans when they start yelling at the wrestlers and expecting to get a rise out of them, and the wrestler is being like a bad guy, and the guy is like, "You're a piece of shit," and he's just like, "I know, I'm fucking playing my character right now." Like I love it because of the pageantry. That's why I like it so much.
Yeah.
The pageantry of it is fun until you start getting told, oh, by the way, this guy is kind of a fucking weirdo, and I don't like that.
Yep.
And that's been going on, and that's not just in wrestling, but comedy. The whole thing with Chris D'Elia came out this week too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean,
was literally playing his character from you.
Again, he's working the gimmick.
He's working the gimmick. This guy doesn't break kayfabe. And on a certain level, you got to be proud of that.
The funny thing is, though, I was thinking about this before we started recording, was how much wrestling and comedy are similar in the way you come up and the way that you kind of hone your craft. Like I'm a comedian. I mean, I'm very novice level at this point. I mean, that's just a good way to describe it. I've been in the game a little while, but like the thing with wrestling too is like you got to work independent scenes.
Yeah.
Comedy, you got to go to open mics.
Yeah.
You got to work shitty rooms with 10 people.
Yeah.
Most of them wearing motorcycle jackets.
Yes.
It's weird, and they look at you and they go, "Shut up," and I go, "Are you my dad?" Because that'd be, I hope so, because I have a couple questions to ask them. Yeah. But that's really the thing. So like independently, you got to find yourself as a comedian, and then you got to get yourself over. Okay, whether it be online through social media, whether it be going out and doing gigs for small, being a feature act for the headliner.
Do a bar mitzvah.
Do a fucking kid's birthday party because the clown didn't show up.
Yeah,
I mean, got to do what you got to do.
Yeah,
but wrestling too. It's like people are wrestling in backyards to start.
Oh yeah,
and they're just like putting their videos online, and they're like, I hope people sees this. It's we'll see what happens. But it's so similar in its way, and it's both entertaining and comedic. I mean, it really is. Wrestling in its core is carnival. It's carny. I mean, it just is what it is.
And that's where a lot of the terminology for wrestling comes from. It comes from old carny lingo. Working the gimmick.
Working the gimmick. Going over.
Yep.
Someone under, someone over.
Yep.
Like the whole thing with going over was just saying, like, that guy's going to win. He's going to go over on this guy. Yeah. This is the old thing. You watch Dark Side of the Ring, which is a really good, if you're into wrestling history.
Yes.
It doesn't go too deep. It gets to the fringe. Like I go deep dive. Like I read a lot of wrestling stuff. So I deep dive on like I love the whole the origination of, they're telegraphing this in like 1934, and it's just like Slappy Bob is going to go over on Jimmy Toothless. Like,
or a Mark. That's another.
Yeah, which is a guy that gets smart to the gimmick, or gets smart to the match, and he's just like, oh, that guy's going to win. I already know this.
Right.
Which could be a problem for gambling and other issues, but that's beside the point. The main thing here, the crux of this whole issue, is regardless of industry, there's always going to be weird guys.
Absolutely,
it just is a fact of life.
They always come around. Yep. They always find their way.
There's more weird guys than there are not. Really,
I guess.
Walk into a bar.
Okay.
When you're allowed to again. Walk into a bar. Survey the room. Get a look. Okay. And just say maybe 1 out of every 5 guys is going to be weird.
Okay.
You think that's a pretty good estimate?
I think that's a good estimate. I mean, I would say most guys you meet in life are fairly,
but
normal-ish.
We're men too. Like, we're primal. I think from our perspective, I think we're weird from like a kind of quirky perspective. Yeah. Like, I don't think we're unapproachable. I think we're very approachable. Yeah. But I think we're just kind of we're just a little weird. We're a little off.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, I'm not gonna tell everybody about my deepest, darkest thoughts, because if you really wanted to hear them, you fucking know. Like,
you really want me to take you to the dark lands? Like, hey.
Yeah. Do you want to see my search history? Like,
I can take you there.
And it's just like, this guy is a sick, twisted fuck who is very interested in the primary today. Like, he's very interested in the 2020 election. Wow. And then he's also interested in big, big wet slap titties. Slap it back and forth.
Big old greasy butts, that's what life is about.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you find it odd that you just are so poignant when it comes to your porn searches? Like, you almost know going in what I'm going to search for? Like, it's almost unbelievable. Like, I can't spell certain words, but if I go to fucking Pornhub, I know exactly what I'm going to search, and it's spelled correctly every time.
Wow.
It's
yeah. Well, the great thing about Pornhub is
it gives you suggestions.
That, but also most porn categories, they keep them pretty simple as far as the spelling goes.
Yeah.
Where you can search for pogs, like it's pretty simple spelling.
Yeah.
Maybe I think the most
it's mostly acronyms.
Yeah.
Acronyms and colors.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the most difficult thing to spell as far as porn searches
go. Great name for a children's book, Acronyms and Colors.
Yeah, acronyms and colors. No, but I think the most difficult thing to spell when it comes to porn is probably like interracial.
Yeah, because it's intraracial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interracial, which, by the way, why is interracial, it's always only like black guy, white woman?
Probably because of do you just look at how many people have watched it and you're just like, just based on the search history?
Yeah, but true. Like pretty much all interracial porn you see though is like, I'd say 98% of it
is a black man. Do you have a problem with it?
Is a black man with a white woman.
Yeah.
Like interracial could be like a Puerto Rican dude with like an Asian woman.
Okay, true.
That's interracial.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah. I always just wonder that. Like, why? I know you gotta sell. You gotta sell
Nikes,
Yeah. You gotta sell ad space.
Mm-hmm.
So you want Jack to slay her.
I think
some tight little 18-year-old.
I get it. I get it. All right. I think the thing of it too is that it needs to be. Because we talked about this. We talk about porn too much. We do.
It's wrestling porn. We're just hitting
wrestling porn. We're
hitting all the points today.
Yeah, and next we're going to talk about Hemi engines. It's going to be a great show.
Mm-hmm. Expensive watches. Big engines in small cars. Exactly. Vroom vroom.
Yeah, vroom vroom. Yeah. Rappers. Basically anything that you need. It's the. Porn is really just it hits on the nose, and it's supposed to, because it's not supposed to be taken seriously.
No.
That's a huge problem in our society today, is that everybody thinks porn is real.
No. It's 100% supposed to be a fantasy.
That's why there's so much physical violence in the home, I think. Like, I feel like domestic violence has gone up in this whole coronavirus situation because men are just watching too much porn.
You think so?
And then going, hey, do this, and the wife's like, no, and he goes, do this.
I don't know if that's it.
What do you think it is?
I think it's people are spending more time together
and finding the flaws of the person.
I think it might be that, and I think
you and your wife seem like you really still like each other a lot.
We do.
Okay.
We do.
I like my girlfriend. There's days where we hate each other.
Well, yeah, you're going to have those days where, like,
but that's just called hard love.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. But
socially distant love.
Yes. But I think that you're going to find those days where people have just been together, spending a lot more time together than they're used to. Mm-hmm. And because of that, you might want to break your dishwasher one day. That's all if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I think that.
Who does the dishes in the house? She does, right?
Goddamn right.
I do the dishes in my house. So.
No, we both do the dishes, but you goddamn right.
Yeah. I wash and dry. I'm a single dad over here.
Oh, okay. Damn, you're gonna break your laundry machine too? Huh?
I might. She does do the laundry. That is something. That is fact. Anyway, so back to the story of everyone has been trying to cancel people this whole week. They came at everybody.
Yeah, the thing
Rogan,
is, though, some people are too big to cancel.
Yeah.
You're not going to cancel Joe Rogan.
You're not canceling Joe Rogan.
Just how you couldn't cancel Dave Chappelle.
No.
And the reason why is because there's certain people that their voices, their narrative is...
It's overly influential?
Yes. All right, Joe Rogan just signed a $100 million deal with Spotify.
Mm-hmm. And he still gets... he still has everything.
And he has...
Only distribution.
Yes. And pretty much is a licensing deal. Mm-hmm. They're
saying the only way, only way you can listen to this show is you have to get Spotify.
Yep,
smart.
But other than that, he controls everything else.
It's a good business deal.
Okay. Do you think you're able to sign that massive deal with Spotify if you can be canceled?
No.
Not at all.
No. Uncancelable.
Not at all. But then people say, well, Harvey
Yeah.
Weinstein is one of the biggest studios in Hollywood. But guess what? The movie industry right now, motion pictures, scrambling.
Yeah.
Scrambling. And they were struggling before.
They still want to open. Well, yeah, they were struggling before, but now, like.
But now with COVID here,
Yeah.
which granted, this was.
I never
a
liked
while
going to the
after.
movies. I mean, I wouldn't say I never liked going to the movies to
We
begin
used
with.
to love going to the movies. It's an experience, but
You know what? I love being at home watching a movie.
yeah.
I always have been that way.
Yeah. But
Certain movies, like, I'll go watch Avatar. I want to go see that in
Yeah.
the theater.
yeah.
You know, but if it's like, there's certain movies that I can just watch. You can get a projection screen at home, for God's sakes, if you
Yeah,
really
you
want the
can.
experience. I mean,
But here's the thing, though, is if you look at movies nowadays, they're not giving movie deals out to just anybody anymore. Like if you, like a movie like Half Baked, for example, wouldn't get made today. Where it was just, two guys writing it that you never really heard of before.
Yeah.
I mean, Dave Chappelle, Neil Brennan.
are like, yeah, they're
But, 20 years ago.
Probably, I wouldn't say they're the two. I get in trouble every time I try to put people on a pedestal.
Yeah.
I think they're two of the top 10 joke writers of all time.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
Neil Brennan doesn't get as much credit as he deserves.
Definitely.
Because he's been behind the scenes for so long.
Yeah.
But he's been a working comic for a really long time
He has,
too.
he has.
He's great.
But think about it like this, though, right? I mean, 20, 25 years ago, yeah, they got a deal to write a movie, having barely seen really anything from the two of them. Do those guys get that deal to write that movie today?
Not enough money.
Not at all. There's not enough money to make a chance on those guys.
There's still plenty of money, but there's not enough to say, let's take a chance on a couple of these, these young 20-something guys.
Right.
That want to make this stoner movie in 1998.
Right. And I mean, shit. Truth be told, I'm pretty sure that was a commercial failure.
Only became a cult classic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Commercially, it was very unsuccessful.
Yeah.
I think it only did I don't even think it did 10 million. Maybe it only did 10 or 20 million at the box office, which is nothing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, look it up.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, like something like that. It just doesn't get made nowadays. I mean, now pretty much the only movies that are getting made are like Kevin Hart or The Rock is in it.
Yeah. Did $17.5 million with an $8 million budget.
So
It barely
made money.
It made no, but that's not a lot
No.
from the movie. Like, think about here's a good example. How High made $31 million.
Yeah. What was the budget on How High?
Probably
Similar.
Probably similar.
Yeah.
$12 million budget.
Okay.
So yeah,
Versus
versus $8 million for Half Baked.
Yeah.
Can you believe $8 million for Half Baked? It's
Yeah.
a 70-minute movie.
yeah.
The movie's 70.
I did not realize that movie was that short.
I think the runtime of that movie is I believe it's 70 minutes.
Okay.
Let me see. I guess I have to double check it because it's a very short movie.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. But yeah, like Half Baked doesn't get made today because the money just isn't there.
Yeah, 1 hour and 22 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
82 minutes, 75-minute runtime.
Yeah.
It's a short movie.
That's a short movie.
It's a short fucking
But
movie.
yes, those type of movies, they don't get made anymore. I mean, and
Forget
now
how good that cast is in that movie because those are
it's great.
those are good. Those are great stand-up comedians. Harlan Williams is one of
Yeah.
the funniest comedians. With Jim Brewer,
Yeah.
so fucking funny.
But
Not a stoner,
No.
at all. Guy barely drinks. Just has got a weird face.
yeah.
Do you ever see the goat face?
Yeah, and his
Thing.
stand up is clean too.
Most of his stand-up is pretty clean. Yeah.
Yeah.
The fucking long live paint. That's one of my favorite stand-up bits of all time. Yeah,
But-
I worked at paint. The paint. What was it in Sears? I worked in the paint department, and I said that I was Muammar Gaddafi, and I was going to terrorize all of Sears. Oh God, that's so funny. Super Mets fan too, Jim Brewer, like the biggest Mets
Yeah.
fan in the world. I believe he leads the pack. But anyway, cancel culture is definitely a thing nowadays. It
Yeah.
always has been a thing, but just been so. It's been so in my newsfeed because it's like it's my life is comedy and professional wrestling, which is a really weird thing to say that I love. I can't say I love professional wrestling. I really do.
Right.
It's the nuance of it and everything, and I try to always be the guy that just kind of pushes past this and it's just like, all right, this will blow over.
Yeah,
but it's like
it depends on the person.
It does, and I don't want to. I'm never going to defend somebody that does stuff like that. I think it's just
there are certain people that you can't cancel them, and I think the people that can't get canceled are the people that don't need anybody. So, like, like I said, Joe Rogan, for example.
He's got everything, man. He's got fuck you money now.
Joe Rogan's good. You can't cancel Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's just going to keep coming. His fans are still going to come out for him.
Yeah, he's always been that way, but he's also a comedian. Like, it's
That's true. True.
Yeah, you can cancel a comedian. You can't, for words. Like, the comedian literal job is to say off-color things. Like, you're supposed to toe the line and you can even slightly go over it as long as you know what's going to happen afterwards.
Right. And the way I look at it with comedians is you're supposed to go for it. Like, that's what it's for. You're supposed to push the envelope. You're supposed to go for it. It's a commentary on the world as you see it.
That's how, it is.
Sometimes it's not that good. Sometimes it doesn't work out well.
Well, like the Ari Shaffir thing with Kobe Bryant.
Exactly.
That did not go well.
It didn't go. He tried.
He went for shock, and it didn't. Listen,
and it didn't go well.
If every joke hit, you'd be the best comedian of all time.
Yeah.
Not every joke hits.
No, you're gonna miss. I mean, Michael Jordan had off days.
You're gonna miss 9 out of 10 shots.
Yes.
It's that one shot that you try at fucking 10-seat bars.
Yep.
on a Tuesday night. That hit, and you go, wow, that's a good joke.
Yeah.
I should tell this.
So that's the thing about being a comedian, though, is like you're gonna go for it, and I can't judge somebody who their job title is literally to go for it. So for that reason, it gets kind of weird when people start talking about canceling comedians because of things they said.
Yeah.
Now, when you get into canceling comedians for things that they may have done,
different story.
That's a different story.
Yeah. If you're being brought up on, no charges have been filed. This is all speculation at this point. Speculation and allegation. But yeah, I mean, it's all sexual predatory shit, man. And it's like,
but even then, the problem with the Me Too movement,
you have to know at this point. Just lock it down.
Yeah.
Lock it down. Figure it out.
But I think a lot of people kind of got to a point with the Me Too movement where it doesn't have as much credibility as it did a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but it's still a thing.
But because people like Aziz Ansari got canceled, and even then, like, I'm sure you remember reading the article about Aziz Ansari and how basically Aziz was a little creepy. The girl didn't just come right out and say no. It sounded like he gave her plenty of opportunity to, like, leave, but she just stayed. And I think it just came down to young girl was with the absolute nice creepy, but couldn't have been a nicer guy.
Could have been a nicer weird guy.
Couldn't have been a nicer weird guy. Like, honestly, as far as weird guys go, you went best. It might sound fucked up me saying this, but you went like best case scenario, because I read the article and it was literally like they start hooking up. She'd get stiff on him. He'd say, "Are you okay?" She says, "No, like, this actually feels awkward to me." And then he'd say, "Okay, let's just watch TV." Then they start watching TV. He'd start rubbing her shoulders. Somehow she started sucking his dick.
It's weird how that happens.
And then she slowed down.
But doesn't that sound like every like male sexual advance? Maybe ever?
And here's the thing: is I read the Aziz Ansari
scenario.
one.
Speaking from our perspective, act like that. Okay,
that's definitely.
We were in college once.
Absolutely,
we were also
young.
Yeah, we were also I mean, you're still in your 20s. Sorry to say. We were still hawked up on testosterone in our 20s, but I mean, circumstances very similar. Okay. I've had a girl. You can't say that you've never had a girl that's just like, I kind of feel weird about this, and you're just like,
and then you're like, all right.
And then 15 minutes later, it's fucking you did the deed, and it's just like still weird, right? Like, it's just, of course it's going to be weird. Like, it's a new person.
Yeah. So it's, I don't know, but her saying that, he was like, well, are you okay? Like, do you want to leave? And she was basically like, no, like, I just want to watch the TV show. And he's like, all right. So they watch the TV show. Then he keeps persisting. And I think that something that, because I remember the girl that wrote the article's young. Like, she was probably in her early 20s. Aziz was probably in his 30s.
At this point, yeah.
I think what she didn't realize, she had to learn a valuable lesson that day. A man with a hard dick is a hard man to stop.
It's true.
He's gonna keep just
once
I'm not excusing men, but once the
blood starts rushing towards the bottom half of the body, like, it's very tough to tame.
Right. And the thing is that he gave you an out. Like, you honestly, and I think had she been a little older, been a little more seasoned, maybe she would have been like, you know what,
seasoned deflector.
Yeah, maybe she would have been like, you know what, I'm just gonna go, because he didn't block an exit. In fact, when she said she wanted to leave, he said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Like, I'll call you an Uber."
Gotcha. So she was more like Rasheed Wallace when she needed to be more Dikembe Mutombo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, listen. There are absolute monsters out there. I'm not denying that.
Absolutely.
There are dudes out there that are going to hold you down, American Me style.
We don't have to talk about this.
Forearm in the back of the neck.
Okay.
Like,
all right.
Go time. And then she's like, and then he's like, oh, shut up, bitch. Like, those guys exist.
They do exist, and they're monsters.
But some of these Me Too stories I've read are not that. It's really just like horny guy, misreading body language, girl that doesn't really want it, but it's like, oh my God, he's like marginally famous. And he's just like, I just want to fucking calm. And then
it's really all it is.
She's like, oh, I just wanted an autograph, and I wanted to talk about Citizen
crazy how
Kane.
simple the dynamic is. When it's just guy wants to come, girl doesn't want to make him come, guy gets angry.
Yes. Yeah.
I just figured it out, I think. I think I just figured it out.
I don't even know if the guy gets angry. I think the guy just feels awkward.
Just frustrated.
He gets a little frustrated and angry, and he's going to keep trying because you didn't leave.
Well, it's also that male dynamic. It's just the power dynamic aspect of it. Of, you know, I'm this marginally famous or famous guy. You should be sucking my dick right now.
Sucking my dick right now. And I don't even think all of them are like that.
I know, but I
mean, because you read the Aziz Ansari one, is literally, we went on a date, she came back to my apartment. I don't think that is...
Yeah, sounds like a regular-ass date night to me.
Yeah.
Until, you know, until the depiction of the night then transpired.
Yeah, but put yourself in, like, you know, those you meet a girl, you're young, single, again. You meet a girl, you're out and about in the town, you guys go on a date, things seem to go well, she agrees to come back to your place. What do you think is going to happen?
I mean, there's really two things that could happen. She's gonna stay, and there's gonna be some fucking, or she's gonna leave.
Yeah,
and that's really it.
Yeah, I mean, what is she gonna do? We're gonna sit on my couch, watch reruns of some TV show I'm in. Like, I mean, what is this?
Could you imagine that?
Yeah,
she's like, this is my favorite part of Parks and Rec.
Yeah, Tom Haverford.
Yeah, hey, that's me. It's like, why are we watching this? It's just like, oh, it's the first thing.
These beats are dope.
God, I couldn't imagine hanging out with Kanye. Just, you guys want to see my church? It's like, you got one in the backyard, homie? Shit. Like, yeah,
let's hop in the Bearcats and ride out there.
So there's but there's the other thing. So, like, I read too. So there's the depictions too of a lot of female comedians coming out, having their stories of the road. Like, I read one earlier. I forgive me, I don't remember the comedian's name.
Comedian.
Don't patronize that. I hate that shit. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lady comic coming up this evening. Get the fuck out of here. Like, there's a lot of... I gotta tell you, man.
We have a beautiful comedian coming on tonight.
You fucking piece of shit. I hate when people ostracize and patronize a woman for coming on stage.
Yeah.
I think it's I find that more funny. I made a joke about it oh God, this was 2 years ago. I did an open mic. And it was really funny. So the guy that was running the open mic, he was a little awkward. I think he was drunk. So he made a joke about the girl coming to the stage. He goes, there's a lovely lady coming to the stage this evening. It's her She's only been doing this for a handful of years. Give it up for so and so. She does it, and I'm up next. And I go up to the girl. I said, "Hey," I said, "Great set." I said, "Can I make a joke about?" And she goes, "Yeah." She goes, "Just don't." She goes, "You don't know me, so like, just don't make." I was like, are you gonna tell me not to make fun of you because that's kind of what I'm doing here." So he gets off stage and he's just like, "All right, come to the stage, so and so." I walk up on stage and I go, "Give it up for not a lady comedian." I said, if I had tits, I bet you laugh way harder. That was it. And he was a little peeved. He wasn't that mad at me. He was like, "Were you making fun of me?" And I'm like, "Nah, not really." A little bit. Yeah, I was like, "You're getting offended by this, man? Like, this is a comedy show." Lighten the fuck up. But the girl was like, "She goes, that was really funny," and I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "It was true though." I said, "If I had tits though, that would have went way better."
Yeah, yeah.
But that's the whole thing. So like the power dynamic aspect of like female comic being asked by male comic to like go on the road, and then the depiction of the fact that I only was told to go on the road because he thought we were going to sleep together, and then this whole depiction of it is this girl's basically 3 different stories of her getting like fucking berated by male comics, which is, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's a dark world as a comedian.
Yeah.
You know, our brains are very fickle. Mostly emotionally depressed. A lot of suppressed, terrible things have happened.
Yeah. Tears of a clown, man.
Tears of a clown, exactly.
But I think that's fucked up, though, is when someone uses their power and their influence to try to get something from you.
And that's not
sexually.
Just comedy, though. Like, that is like business world. That is like wealthy banker, you know, fucks assistant. Like, it's just...
But that happens...
Or tries to fuck assistant. Like, it's just...
That happens at all levels. Whenever you have somebody with power, they're going to try to use their power to get their dick wet. I
hearken everything back to Mad Men, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Just like, unfortunately, it's a really good depiction of like every scenario that I just read. I go, watch one episode of that show.
Oh, really?
And then just go, yeah, that's about right. We talk about like this whole... So we're talking about the whole Black Lives Matter thing.
Yep.
And that's very important. It's a subject we should continue to hammer home until everything...
Absolutely.
You get it... Not to the point where it should never have an off switch. It should never get to the point where you make. I don't think you should make I'm trying to think of the right word. I think you go to a point until your demands start getting a little like away from the context. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No.
So like the context of the movement is to have defined equality.
Yeah.
That's what but then when it comes to like there's guys that'll go up to a white woman in the street and just be like, "Oh, you've been oppressing us," even though they don't know that person, and they'll tell them to like kneel and at their feet.
Like, you've seen this on the internet?
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's been you can look it up. There's a guy, I believe it was in San Diego? He was legit across the street. There was a woman walking out of a store. He ran with his video out, and he goes, excuse me. He like went up to this woman and basically like read her a riot act and was just like, "You've been oppressing my race for X amount of years, and I need you." And this woman is afraid. Like, she's a a skinny white woman. This is a bigger black guy. Okay, so there's an intimidation factor.
Okay,
and he legitimately tells this woman to like kneel at his feet.
Okay. Here's the problem though with bringing up these sort of examples.
They're one example of like
it's one example, and the problem is, and this is something that I noticed, is Trump started retweeting videos of like black people beating up white people
because the narrative. It's
the narrative, and honestly though, is the thing about a lot of things on Twitter is they exist in an echo chamber. So you take one small example of something happening, and then suddenly it gets millions of views on it, and it's like, oh my god, like this is what's happening in the world, and it's like no,
this is one thing that's happening in the world.
This is one thing that's happening.
It's strength in numbers. It's just
there's
so many people that are watching it, thus it gives it credibility.
Exactly.
Which coming from my background, because a lot of what I believe in is I believe in free speech and free market journalism in particular.
Yeah.
That the days of crediting journalists for stories are gone, and that pains me because I was like a thoroughbred. Like I wanted my dream job when I was 17 years old.
Okay.
I was just a young boy, a young lad,
young hairless boy.
Yeah, I wanted to be a columnist for the Washington Post. That's what I wanted to do.
That's what you wanted to do, write for the Washington Post.
I wanted to be either a sports writer for like a big newspaper, or I wanted to be a political columnist for the Washington Post.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to fucking do.
Okay.
Okay? And now guess what? I don't do that.
No.
Mostly because newspapers, you might as well just set them on fire. But
well, nobody reads. I mean, the days of like independently run large newspapers are drying up right in front of our eyes. Most of them are
love the
owned
rat
by
race
third
of
parties.
it, though. Just like the guy licking his pencil, just being like, "So tell me more about that. See, will you tell me what you saw?" Like, I like that, but
so those jobs just aren't out there
fucking
anymore.
gone.
Yeah,
they're
it's
fucking
gone.
So you had to pivot.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the only two. I mean, you still got WAPO out there, but they're owned by Amazon now.
Yeah.
New York Times, they're still rolling. Other than that, though, pretty much everybody else is gone. Or at least a shell of what they used to be because they've all been bought out.
Owned by conglomerate.
Yeah. So yeah, those days are done, and it's really like traditional media as we know it just isn't what it used to be.
Yeah.
So
let's get back to that point before about the individual narratives, basically the aspects. So like I was talking about before, like I don't think there's definitely not everybody's doing that, but like when I see shit like that, it's just like, black guy runs across the street to accost a white woman just out of nowhere. It's like, okay, I get where you're coming from, but also it's like, all right, we don't have to do this to.
You're gonna have psychos in every movement.
I know.
You're gonna have people that always take it a little too far.
You're always gonna have the extreme guy, of course.
Always,
Yep.
always. But
you're always gonna have that one friend that drinks too much.
Yes,
always.
I've been that friend.
I know. I've been that friend too. There's also a particular friend that we know that's like, that guy just drinks a lot. We know he does.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and you know what? Sometimes he sucks when he drinks, and sometimes he does.
Yeah, sometimes he does. So, it is what it is.
Everybody has that friend.
Everybody has that friend. And sometimes you are that friend. And you know what, though? Here's how I feel about the friend that drinks too much. If you were never the friend that drank too much one night, fuck you.
Yeah, you can never.
You're a shit person.
You're a shit person for not trying hard enough.
You're a shit person for... Cause I personally think that people that don't get to a point every now and then where they have to kneel in front of the toilet, they're afraid of something inside.
So that's their version of taking a knee?
I really think that, like, that feeling where you're just like, oh, I'll never do this again. And then you lay your head on the bowl and it's cold and you thank it.
I fucking hate when people say...
Bill Cosby said that, by the way.
What?
There it is. Lay your head on the bowl and you thank it because it's cold. Yeah. Bill Cosby said that. Shouts out, man.
Ironic, right?
Yeah. Damn.
Shit. Now you're
what's fucked up,
in a rabbit hole on this stuff.
You know what's fucked up, though? Bill Cosby is one of the greatest stand-up comedians ever, and saying that now is controversial, even though, and it's because we can't separate the art from the artist.
Well, yeah, and you also can't separate the guy from the crime.
You can't separate the bill from the pills.
Yeah.
It's hard because you watch like Bill Cosby himself. Bill Cosby himself was probably like the first full like stand-up comedy special I saw. I was probably like 7 or 8 years old at the time when I saw it, and it was the funniest fucking thing I'd ever seen.
And he was clean too. That was really it was approachable comedy.
That's why my parents let me watch it because I was like 7 years old.
The first comedy special that I watched was Delirious. So that's probably a really great example of why I'm fucked. I'm fucked up the way I am.
Yeah.
And my skewed image of my family works very, very well within that dynamic.
Yeah. But then I watched that, and then it's like, God damn! And I used to be a huge Cosby Show fan. say used to because you can't find it on TV anymore.
No,
so
that thing has been wiped, which is a
just
shame.
Gone
because,
from history. So
I was just coming for Theo.
Yeah,
Like,
but no, but it's weird because like watching Bill Cosby on TV was a very important part of my childhood, and now it's like that never happened. We can't talk about that anymore. And saying that, like, I'm not trying to diminish the experience of the women that he brutalized. Like that's not.
Side note: this wine is fantastic.
This is an incredible. We're gonna finish this bottle.
Yeah, this is very good wine. I might get this one. I don't know if this is a perfect score wine, but this is pretty damn good.
It's up. This is a good wine.
I don't like Chardonnays, man. I'm not a big Chardonnay guy.
I know you're not a Chardy boy.
This is very good. It seems that every time we get a French white wine, we seem to really dig it.
They're good.
It's true.
They're good.
Like I said, you pay for what you get.
Yes.
Really.
It's getting a little too cold, though.
I would say take it out. Let it.
Yeah, I'm gonna let that sit.
Let that bitch breathe.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw a paper towel under it. You got one right there? Bam. Right there. Bow.
The quicker picker-upper.
Mm-hmm. So, what else is going on in the world
I don't know, man. Well, we talked about... Well, I guess we can... The transition of it. So, I watched NASCAR this weekend because sports are very thin at this point in time. There ain't a lot going on.
You really got to take what you can get.
I'm watching fucking cornhole and NASCAR.
By the way...
I put an American flag bandana on my head this weekend.
Okay.
And I said, yeehaw, Allah.
Yeah.
No, but actually, I watched because the NASCAR race was suspended till yesterday. So the whole issue, so the biggest thing that came out of it, so there's this black Bubba Wallace.
Yep.
Who is, who drives for Richard Petty Racing, the king.
Yes.
Richard Petty.
By the way, I found it very interesting that he drives for Richard Petty Racing. I'm pretty sure Richard Petty says the N-word just to keep his teeth white.
Are you? This is just hyperbole?
This is just me seeing Richard Petty as a person.
See something, say something.
Yeah, and I'm like, he just looks like...
So here's the thing, is that Richard Petty took a very strong stance on the whole issue. So unfortunately, what came out of this whole situation was the race got suspended on Sunday, and then back when they took the drivers off the track, somebody found a noose in Bubba Wallace's garage.
Okay.
So then this started this whole, obviously there's somebody within NASCAR, showing this unfortunately symbolic gesture of, lynching from the, from the annals of history.
Yep.
So what happened was, the race happened yesterday. Mm-hmm. And what happened before the race, which was awesome, I put it on my Instagram, but they pushed, there was 40 drivers, 39 other teams pushed Bubba Wallace's car to the front of the field, all in solidarity, basically everybody. They pushed it to the front of the field, and they walked arm in arm together up to the front of the field.
Yeah.
And the guy got out of the car, he started crying. I mean, NASCAR has this skewed perspective as being this racist redneck sport. I mean,
I always thought it was
because it's funny to think of it that way.
Yeah,
it's just like when you go to NASCAR, like you add a little twang to it. It just is. It's that southern draw. And I mean, majority of the racetracks are in the deep south and the Midwest. And it's just the way that it's depicted.
But also, like, when NASCAR said, okay, we're not going to allow the Confederate flag at our events anymore.
You shouldn't.
And then you saw these All Lives Matter-y people, which, by the way, you can spot a fake redneck.
You can spot a fake redneck, but you can also spot the guy that is also internally racist when he starts doing "it's a part of our history" comments.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
what I was going to say, hold on. I was going to say, you can spot a fake redneck very easily when they say Blue Lives Matter, shit like that.
All right.
Okay, here's the reason why, okay? Real rednecks are fuck 12. They just are. Like, I mean, even then, the reason why NASCAR was invented in the first place was because bootleggers were running bathtub liquor during Prohibition.
I said moonshine liquor.
Yeah. Moonshine liquor, corn whiskey.
Why Latin?
Making that shit out in the woods. They started modifying their cars so they could get away from the police and they could drive faster. A bunch of these guys started getting together on weekends and racing their cars. So modifying the cars so they would still look stock, but they would drive faster. And that's when stock car racing started. Dudes coming up with creative ways to get away from the police, and then started racing their cars against each other.
The origination of NASCAR was to outrun the police.
Yes. It was a bunch of guys that upgraded their cars so they could run away from the police, and then they decided to start racing their cars against each other. That is how...
It's like, just read a little.
Yes, that is how NASCAR started. NASCAR literally has fuck 12 origins. And for a bunch of these idiots to come out and say Blue Lives Matter, like, baby boy, you don't know your history.
Yeah, it's like, why don't you go back to the day one?
Yes.
Look at some day one-ish about fucking about NASCAR, because it's just, it's true. It's deep rooted in bootlegging and moonshining. It is.
Yes.
In fact it is.
Yes.
It's the origin story of it.
The origin of it, it's literally outlaw racing. That is what comes. That's where it comes from.
Should make a movie about it.
They really should.
I don't know why they haven't.
There might be.
I watched the shit out of that movie.
Oh yeah, but that's what it comes from, though. So for these guys to come out and say, "Oh, Blue Lives Matter," I back the blue. They have a dangerous job. Yeah, fuck you. You're not a real one.
You're not one of those day ones.
No, you're not.
Do you know the history? That's one of those people that you actually have to then say, can I give you a history lesson? And he won't listen. Unfortunately, he's not going to listen. He's just because he's stuck in his ways.
Yeah.
But
he's just not going to lose this Facebook argument.
Too stubborn to lose his Facebook argument.
Yeah.
Now, Gil, relax. All right. He's making some good points.
Oh, man.
God, Facebook arguments are the best. Okay, now I like being argumentative.
Okay.
My issue is that the arguments that I have are very juvenile.
Absolutely.
I love arguing about the most stupid shit. Like somebody says, I basically just try to say the opposite of what somebody says. Like my favorite soda is Pepsi. It's like Coke's better.
Yeah.
That's it. No context, just Coke's better. See what people say.
Yeah.
Wait in the cut for a little bit. Wait for somebody to then verbally jab me or like make a comment, and then I start going into like the history of Coca-Cola. And then I start doing the history of Coca-Cola, and then I find like one little blurb about Pepsi and be like, actually, the first spokesperson of Pepsi was a racist. Like just something like that.
Fanta was created by Nazis.
Yeah.
There you go. It really was. Look that up.
Yeah, I was just say, did you know that Sunkist was actually created by the Jews? And somebody would be like, really? And I'll be like, yeah. And they're like, how do you know this? And I'm like, context, my friend.
So, but I don't know. Recently, one thing I saw on Facebook was when they decided that they were going to get rid of Aunt Jemima.
Yeah. Now we have Aunt Karen syrup.
Yeah. So, but one thing I saw, though, is people were like, really? They're changing the syrup? What's next? And I'm like, I mean...
You really have a problem with...
You really have a problem with them changing the name of this? And then people were like, I grew up with this syrup. I love it.
Find something else.
Yeah, and I'm like, bitch,
get some real maple syrup. Be a fucking person.
Yeah,
you
so
ever had Vermont
I jumped on someone's
pure maple syrup.
It's a good shit.
It's better than that.
Well, let's be honest, most of us didn't grow up eating real maple syrup.
The only reason I did is because my mom is a good cook, so she's just like, I will not put Aunt Jemima on those pancakes. You will get pure maple syrup. You are a person. And I'm like, okay. All right.
I grew up with Miss Butterworth.
I was a Miss, but I did have Miss Butterworths in the house though.
Yeah.
I feel like there's something oddly off about Mrs. Butter. I feel like something's going to come out. People are going to be like, what's the origin of Mrs. Butterworth? And it's just like, actually, she was she was like an OG like housekeeper back in like 1940.
Housekeeper.
Yeah. And
she was a negress housekeeper.
And she was having sex with the owner of the house.
But they were smart about it, though. Because even if Mrs. Butterworth was the help back in, like the 1930s or whatever, they were smart enough that through time, basically they changed the mascot to just be a bottle of syrup that's shaped like a lady.
I know, but what is Mrs. Butterworth's like actual like facial, like what does she look like?
She looks like a bottle of syrup.
I know, but like what is like
we don't know. She looks like that bottle of syrup. That's her image.
She has no complexion.
She's just clear with brown fluid.
So she's brown.
Brown sticky fluid inside. Yeah.
I've never heard syrup described that way. How would you describe syrup? Brown, sticky fluid.
Yeah. But that's what they did. So even if it was that, they've changed it so much over the years that like at this point, I don't know what Mrs. Butterworth looks. She looks like whoever that woman is on the shape of the bottle.
Let's make Mrs. Butterworth a race thing. Come on, let's do this.
I don't know how you can.
I don't think you can. I feel like if I got in a Facebook argument with somebody, though, I could definitely bring it up.
You probably
People
could,
would be like, Aunt Jemima, that's crazy. And I'd be like, did I ever tell you about Mrs. Butterworth? And people would just start listening. And I'd be like, she was actually the help.
But even then, like the name Mrs. Butterworth, like what is like? It's clearly a made up name.
Approachable white woman is what it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, even then, like the woman that voices Mrs. Butterworth on like the Saturday morning cartoon commercials, is just your old lady number 5 voice. Oh. Like it's the most generic old comforting woman voice.
Just grandma voice.
Yeah, it's a generic grandma voice. You know, it's the
slap some of this brown sticky stuff on the pancakes, boy.
Yeah, it's just it's pretty much like, oh, I'm making flapjacks for my grandkids. Like that's the voice of Mrs. Butterworth in the commercials. So it's like they're not going to offend anybody. Meanwhile, you got Aunt Jemima syrup.
Yeah,
come here, baby. Come here for some flapjacks. We gonna cook it up for you little chillins over here.
It's pretty obvious what that is.
Yeah. Gonna make some flapjacks in the evening. Gonna fry up some chicken for supper. Like it. Come on.
I mean,
Aunt Jemima. Aunt Jemima, which by the way, Aunt Jemima is like an old minstrel song. That's where they got the name from.
I didn't read into this very much. All I just saw. You know,
well, I've known about this for a while because I've been on that fuck Jemima faux life train. I've never eaten Aunt Jemima syrup. Never will. Fuck that syrup.
Yeah, so you're day one.
Yeah, I'm day one. Fuck Jemima. A racist ass syrup. I see people eating that. Why are you eating that racist ass syrup?
I could see you like just walking down the aisle of the grocery store and just like knocking it off the shelf.
I'm like, nope.
Like,
well, think about it. When we lived together, right? Mm-hmm. Did we have Aunt Jemima syrup?
I'm sorry, hold on. WeLiveTogether.com.
WeLiveTogether.com.
Go ahead.
Did we have Aunt Jemima syrup in our abode?
I don't think we ever had like name brand syrup.
If we did, it was Bang Bang Butterworth.
I think we did have
not Jemima.
I think we did have a bottle of Butterworth in the house.
Yeah.
And
no, I made Brenner a couple of times. There wasn't no Jemima in the house.
We did have Brenner a couple of times.
We did.
Man, it was the microwave sausage.
And I saw that, and I was like, I don't buy that shit.
It was the pancakes and the microwave sausage. That's what did it for me.
Yeah.
Those banquet microwave sausages.
Yes.
Oh.
8 days worth of sodium in one link. Love it.
We were carbo loading. We had a lot of drinking to do that night.
We did.
Yeah.
We did. So yeah.
Oh God, Brenner.
Yeah. So seeing people get upset, that get triggered, that they're changing the name on the bottle of syrup. Meanwhile, the name Jemima literally comes from a minstrel song where like the woman who's singing, her name is Jemima. She's a slave. Her master promised her freedom when she died, but she's an old lady now, and she basically told her, I promise you, I ain't gonna die. Fuck y'all. And now you're
it's the voice. It makes it funny.
Yeah. Fuck that syrup. I'm glad they changed the name. Fuck it. I mean, but shit, it took 106 years for you finally to decide, maybe we should change this name.
All right, it seems like
well, we gave the colored something when we decided to switch up the mascot. You know, well, we gave her a lace collar and some pearl earrings, and we slimmed her down a little. So we threw him a bone, but the name stayed.
It's just like it appears the culture has caught up to us.
Yeah. Kendall Jenner, where are you? We need you.
We need you.
We need you, Kendall. Give a cop a Pepsi.
Imagine how easy it would be just to give a cop a Pepsi. It's going to be the new slogan for the football season. # give a cop a Pepsi.
By the way, the NFL. Now I'm just throwing shots at this point.
Yeah,
NFL.
Let me tell you. Well, actually, because I wanted to finish my Bubba Wallace.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Because it circles back to the NFL.
Yeah.
Now, so after the whole situation with Bubba Wallace, so on and so forth, you know, he's praised for being outspoken, which is fantastic.
Great.
If you have a platform, use it. Okay,
Great,
just do
great.
it. Do what you got to do.
Which I didn't realize he was the only black driver in NASCAR. I thought that
yep.
there was. Well, he's the only one that's like the full time driver.
There's some other black drivers, but he is the only full time black driver on the NASCAR Cup Series. So,
and I did not know that. I thought that there was at least one other. Mm-hmm. Just others. Yep. There's a few black dudes in NHL.
Yeah,
there's like 3.
I was actually going to say that. You're just like, there's a few, but in the NHL, there's like 3. Really, I think there's only like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Because I can think of PK Subban, who plays for the New Jersey Devils.
Yep.
And there's Wayne Simmons, who plays for the New Jersey Devils.
Yep.
I think that's
so
it.
2 of them are on the same team.
Ah, shit.
I was like, damn.
Yeah, we got the black guys.
Damn.
There's a black goalie, too. I keep forgetting his name.
Okay.
Oh, it's PK Subban's brother, Malcolm.
Malcolm Subban.
Malcolm Subban, yeah.
Huh. Okay.
All right, so we got...
His name is Malcolm. Might not play well.
See puck, stop puck.
By any means necessary.
So the whole situation, there was the noose incident. So the FBI actually was at the track beforehand just to,
investigate, do their job.
No, they were there too. It's a large track, and they actually let some fans in. They just wanted to keep the peace.
Yeah.
So the FBI launched an investigation, and it turns out that noose had actually been there for some time. They said. They said at least it looked like somebody had placed it there back in 2019, beginning half of 2019.
Okay.
So it had already been there. And it just happened to be some odd coincidence that Bubba Wallace happened to be using that same garage where a noose was actually there, standing the entire time.
Been there for
a year plus.
Yeah. Okay.
A little weird, right?
Yeah, but it was there.
It was there the whole time.
Whole time. Now, Grant, I haven't seen the noose.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen it either.
But this, I can say this is the same. There's the same professional sporting venue where they recently had a driver retire due to the fact that they're banning the Confederate flag. Granted, it was.
Can I retort when I say retort the same? Because can I add on to the statement of the fact that he's a dog shit driver?
Yeah, he hadn't won a single race.
Yeah.
They didn't even know who he was.
That's like saying I'm going to quit my job because of unfair work environments, but I'm the worst employee.
Yeah. So
it's like, okay, be better at your job then.
Yeah. So
it's the only way he could keep himself. It's the only way he could still get over with society.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I
think there's a lot of deep-rooted anger. There's a lot of, especially in NASCAR in particular, because there's just it's deep because I mean the history of the sport is based on being a rebel. I mean, really, is outrunning the police and and doing illegal activity.
Yeah,
and it's weird because then that gets turned into like this. Deep South Confederate. I can say this Deep South Confederate. I'm trying to think of the right. It's like a.
Yeah.
It's almost like I wouldn't call it a war cry, but it's like it's a way to be.
It's their
comfortably Southern.
Card.
Like it's just it's like if I'm from the South, I like NASCAR.
Yeah.
It's just kind of my thing, and then the Confederate flag shows the history of NASCAR, but. It's literally the exact opposite.
Yeah, well...
So it doesn't make any sense to keep it in the sport because it has nothing to do with it.
No, here's the thing
if you're talking about origin.
Yeah, here's the thing I found strange, though, about the Confederate flag, right? And I can say this, I have a lot of family from the South. You've known me for a long time. You've known me to, in the summer, just go to the South.
Yep.
Been doing this for years. West Virginia, Mississippi, the Carolinas, wherever.
West Virginia is technically the South, correct?
West Virginia is the South. Yeah.
Technically,
yes. Yeah.
Is it dependent on where you are in West Virginia? I've had this argument
Small
with
state.
I know. I've had this argument with people where I've like I had friends that went to West Virginia, the University of West Virginia, and Morgantown's like the northeast of West Virginia.
Yeah.
So I was told by my buddy who went there. He then said, I went through West Virginia and kind of traveled through it, and he goes, as soon as you get like another 100 miles inland, it starts getting southern. He goes, West Virginia is just a bunch of fucking like animalistic kids. Because we're more northeast than we are deep south.
Bullshit. So
that's what I...
It depends on... Okay, I will give you this. West Virginia does share a border with Pennsylvania. And depending on where
northeast,
you are...
Yeah, it's northeast, yeah.
Yeah, and depending on where you are, I mean, Morgantown is very close to Pittsburgh. So I'll give him that. I mean, if we look, I'm not sure how far away it is, but Morgantown, West Virginia, and we'll go directions.
It's like right at the northeast border of West Virginia.
Yeah, Morgantown, it's an hour and a half away from Pittsburgh.
Okay, so very close.
Very close. So it's not a big difference. But if you're in fucking Charleston, West Virginia...
That's the thing, is like, that's a huge difference.
Yes.
But where in proximity is that in the state?
Let's see.
This isn't that... I mean, this conversation's obviously not that big of a deal, but just from that narrative, like somebody told me, everything that I know about West Virginia is very like northeast. It's more northeast than it feels southern. It's
2.5 hours away, but you're in like the middle of the state.
So basically, like I said, another 100 miles inland.
Yeah.
So maybe that argument is not... I think that...
You're closer to Kentucky than you are to Pittsburgh.
I feel like that has more merit. I guess that argument does have a little merit, yeah.
Yeah, so when you get to Charleston, though, you're closer to Kentucky than you are to Pennsylvania.
That's south.
So you're in the south at this point. That's where my family's from. Charleston, West Virginia. That's where they're from.
Not South Carolina. So Charleston, West Virginia.
Charleston, West Virginia. Yeah. So my grandfather's side, they're from Charleston.
A lot of mountains?
Yes. Literally, you're in... The town is in a fucking valley. Like, there's just mountains, water, Charleston.
I never realized... Because we had to go to a wedding last year, and we drove through West Virginia for like 5 seconds. But like, I didn't realize how mountainous...
Very. You're in the Appalachian Mountains.
Virginia was.
Yes, very.
We went to Roanoke, Virginia, which is kind of like... about the middle of Virginia, just peaks and valleys. Like literally, Roanoke is like in the mountain. Like there's just it's just a giant like front facing mountain. In the middle of Roanoke. I didn't realize how much it was. I mean, just being here, being cut off from the world.
Yeah.
New York, all we have is basically just like we have big city aspects, but like with also some mountain range charm.
Yeah.
We have the Adirondacks. It's like, all right, there's mountains, they got stones throw away, and then you just big cities everywhere else.
Yeah. But no, if you go to Charleston, West Virginia, is an interesting place. And then I got a lot of family from Mississippi. So yes, Southern heritage, I get it. Sweet tea, hospitality, friendly people, yes.
I don't like sweet tea. I've tried it. Don't like it.
Love it. Anyway.
It's too sweet.
Is it? So anyway,
it is.
The point is, though, is that when you talk to black Southerners, they look at the Confederate flag, and most of them are like, fuck that flag. Because they know what it represents. And to be honest is, if you love that flag and you can't let go of that flag, I think you need to just call it what it is. They always say, oh, it's heritage, not hate. No, that flag represents hate.
It does. Yeah, its roots are dug in hate.
Yeah, I mean, you read...
It's hate and oppression. I mean, it's everything that you read in history books that involves the Confederate flag is oppressing somebody.
Well, even then...
Almost exclusively.
Somehow they managed to whitewash the Civil War, basically saying it was about states' rights. And I was like, well, what were the states' rights they were fighting for? Because if you read every single state's like secession papers, usually in the first paragraph, they say they want... Their state is fighting for the right to own people as property. That's every fucking one of them. Even the vice president of the Confederacy said in one of his famous speeches that it was the white man's duty to basically subjugate the Negroes.
Yeah.
Like that was, and it's an easy Google search.
Oh yeah.
2 minutes
Yeah.
you can find all that shit. It's right there. It's simple. It's plain. This is this straight from the horse's mouth.
Do you know what the funny thing is too?
Mm-hmm.
Is that one of the most predominant figures of the Confederacy was Robert E. Lee. There's like a bajillion Robert E. Lee statues all throughout the South.
Yeah.
If you look at transcripts from Robert E. Lee, he like poignantly says, "Do not idolize me.
Yeah.
Do not build statues.
Do not build statues in my honor." Yeah. He says that,
He's
and
like,
then they
don't
do it.
fucking do that.
And meanwhile, there's like
And
Robert
then
E.
they're
Lee
just like-
Middle School and
They're
shit.
just like, he's dead. He can't argue this. Like,
Yeah.
they just build a bunch of statues.
Yeah,
and he was like, please don't.
yeah, it's like Robert E. Lee Middle School, Robert
Yeah.
E. Lee Library.
He's like, that's the thing. It's like although he fought for the South, he was like a very, I mean, from the perspective, he was a very level-headed individual from that perspective.
sure.
I mean, yeah, he was kind of a shitbag, general. I mean,
He was a brutal slave owner, by the way.
Yeah,
If you read about him,
oh, absolutely.
he was a brutal slave owner.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. But
Yeah.
but he also is just like, yeah, I did some dog shit things. Like, don't idolize me for this.
Yeah.
And people are just like, we should idolize this guy.
Yeah.
Like,
let's name this hospital Robert E. Lee
let's
Hospital.
do in his last will and testament, he said, don't do this, and let's burn it.
Yeah.
Let's just light
Fuck
it on
it.
fire.
Let's do it.
Fuck his will.
Robert E. Lee
Let's-
loves sloppy joes.
We're gonna call this sandwich the Robert E. Sloppy. The Robert E. Sloppy. It's like it's a sloppy Joe sandwich, and
Bobby
it's just
Slops.
Bobby Slops. It's slathered with Velveeta cheese and a little bit of parsley.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Cheese whiz.
Cheese whiz. A little bit of parsley because you're feeling healthy.
3 cents an ounce cheaper.
Ugh.
Cheese whiz. But yeah, like and also what's really fucked up is people always thought, turn down them statues, it's history. No, it's not. So a lot of those statues they built in
If I'm talking in
response to-
technicalities, it is technically history.
but those statues were not built.
It's what they represent.
Yeah,
That's the
but
issue.
also it's not like those statues are built in 1863. Majority of those statues are built during times when black people said, "Hey, we want rights."
You know what the funny? What I find the most ironic part of this whole situation is the people that are fighting for the history did not do very good in history in school.
No, they did fucking terrible.
There is no way.
No, and
There is the only history that I think that person in particular gets it from is from the television.
Yes.
They just sit down and they just bang out History Channel. And
Yeah,
they're just like
the war for Yankee aggression.
yeah. It's just like, how'd you do on your SATs? Not well. Not good. I didn't do well on my SATs either. I can't front, but
Nah.
more of a free thinker.
Yeah. All right, Candace. So,
Wash your fucking hair.
oh my god, her hair is fucking awful. Jesus, it's terrible, Candace. It's terrible. No black woman will do Candace Owens' hair. That's why it looks the way it does. They refuse to touch it. They're like, no,
We know what you represent.
no, honey. Figure it out.
Could you imagine she walks in?
You
I
keep
imagine her
burning-
walking into a salon,
Like just a beauty shop.
beauty shop, like
Uh-huh.
yeah, and you got this like real aggressive black woman up front, and she's just like, and she kind of knows who it is, but she doesn't know who it is, so she does a quick Google search, and she's like, yeah, she's like, baby, I can't help you.
I can't help you. Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go to Sally's on the street, on the corner. You're gonna pick up a relaxer just for me, and you gonna fuck your head up. Cause I'm not doing this shit.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I read 2 of your tweets, and I gotta tell you,
Nope.
you are not welcome in here.
I'm good. George Floyd was a criminal. Yeah, you can leave.
You can go ahead and you can politely get the fuck out of my shop.
Yes. So yeah,
The argument too of like George Floyd is a criminal. Like
it doesn't at that point doesn't matter what he did.
It doesn't matter what you do. You don't murder somebody on the street.
cold blood.
On the street. This is not fucking Borderlands. We're not just like killing people for the sake of doing it.
And what's crazy to me is like, okay, and I have friends that are veterans.
I do too, yeah.
They had to follow, when they were overseas, they had to follow, and they were young overseas. Most of them 19, 20 years old, 18, 19, 20 years old at the time overseas. They had to follow the rules of engagement. So you can't just...
You don't just shoot. Yeah, you don't shoot unless you're shot upon.
Yeah, like... So you can't... If you killed somebody like that, like, it'd still be in prison if they did some shit like that. Yeah. So it's...
the military doesn't fuck around with that stuff.
No, they do not. They do not.
They'll mess you up emotionally.
Yeah.
I mean, some people can't handle it.
You'd be in fucking prison. Like,
but there are aspects of it that are... The aspects of the military that I find to be... I don't... There's certain aspects of the military that I find to be abrasive and a little... mostly overbearing. You know, obviously the boot camp, and you're basically just, you know...
But the idea is that they're breaking you down
to build you up, and to be more of a diligent, militant person, to adhere to orders, to listen to direction. Yeah, which I guess in hindsight does work, because then you bring in the rules of engagement.
Exactly.
Which you need to just. It seems like a very simple rule, but somebody with a hair trigger and somebody that's got an itchy finger that's like, you know, or is just nerve-wracked by the whole situation, just like, you know, they hear a fucking pop rock and they're just like, bow, bow, and they're just like ready to go.
But here's the difference of the military, though, is if you fuck up like that and you kill somebody that's like not a person that you're allowed to kill.
Yeah, civilian. You're going to prison.
You are going to prison. They're not going to protect you. It's he was wrong.
Yeah, you murdered somebody.
You killed somebody.
Murdered somebody, yep.
You have to face the consequences for this, you know, and they won't hesitate to do it. It's he was straight up wrong. There's consequences for your actions, versus the police, where, I mean, people always use that, it's just, you know, one bad apple argument.
I hate that argument too.
I hate that argument because they protect the bad apples. They don't get rid of them. So
bad apples spoil, and they ruin the whole bunch.
They ruin the whole. I think the saying is, "Don't let one bad apple spoil the whole bunch." But you don't protect that fucking bad apple, and like keep it in the bag, and like
you don't pretend that bad apple doesn't exist.
Right. No. It's, you know, you get rid of the bad apples, and that's the thing that they don't do with police. They don't get rid of the bad apples. So, I mean, the cop that killed Derek Chauvin, the cop that killed George Floyd, they should have got rid of him years ago with the number of misconduct complaints he had. Yeah, like they should have got rid of him years ago, and they didn't.
We've been living in, we'll live in an unjust society, I think, until we're both dead. I know that there's so much good still happening. I just feel like there's so much behind the scenes political stuff. There's money being dumped into these organizations, the way that taxes break out.
Well, even then, how strong the police unions are.
It's the unionization, but it's also where the money gets allocated.
Yeah.
And the power of it is money.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about police budgets already and how much money that they get.
How overinflated they are. Yeah.
I mean, that's what it all boils down to. Yeah. Do you really think they're going to reallocate that money to like social services?
Fuck no. It's going to take huge change to do that. Be
honest with yourself. Do you really think that's going to happen?
No, they're not. They're not going to do it by choice.
But do you think?
Let's cut our budget in half.
What I think will happen. No, I don't think it's
$3 billion.
What I think is going to happen is I think there's going to be states that will adhere to it.
Sure.
Certain ones.
Sure.
I think New York might be one of them.
It'll be tough.
It'll be tough, but I think because of who we have, because I think Cuomo is, you know how he is. He's strong. He's a strong-headed liberal.
When it's popular. Yep, that's Cuomo.
Which is right fucking now.
I mean, but this is New York politics here, so there is gonna be
But it's so right now in a presidential election year.
Yes.
Like, this is the time for him to do it.
Yeah.
And this is why I think he's going to do it.
And let's be honest. I mean, 2024, that might be his year to run.
I can't. I've seen so much of Andrew Cuomo during this whole coronavirus thing that I don't think I could deal with him for 4 years. It's not because I don't like him. I've never really been a Cuomo guy. I just think he's too his radical aspects of everything. Like when something feels good at the time, he goes all in and then some. And that's what I have a problem with.
Yeah.
It's just like, where were you like 20 minutes ago? It's just like the party just ended. He's just like, the cab. Cab was slow.
Listen,
Like he's always 20 minutes late to the party, but then when he shows up, he parties harder than everybody else. Like, it's just
that is the perfect analogy, though, of how he handled coronavirus.
for real. It's just like Andrew shows up to the party, fucking an hour late, but he out parties everybody.
Yeah, but
just like,
but when you look at his response to coronavirus, because let's be honest, New York should have shut down earlier than it did.
should have shut down earlier than it did. How?
Specifically, the city.
Yeah, but when it did, I mean, if we're talking just facts and we're talking just again power and numbers here, I mean, New York has been the best. We're fucking good at this coronavirus thing.
Yeah, I mean, we've had the most deaths.
Yeah.
So we also were able to turn the ship around the hardest out of anybody.
Why don't you ask the Trump administration how they felt about how they did with the coronavirus, even though our country had the most deaths by like 80,000 more than Brazil,
who only had like 50,000 deaths. We more than doubled Brazil's
we had
numbers.
120,000, and I think they had 50,000.
We Usain bolted this fucking race.
Yeah,
just like here.
Fastest man in the world. How about fastest killings in the world?
Yeah, like we're way up here, and the rest of them are all together around here somewhere. Like,
why does this always have to be about America being first? I don't get it.
well, Usain Bolt's Jamaican.
Yeah, but the analogy of we have to be first always.
Yeah.
What did America do this year? Most deaths due to coronavirus. We're number one.
Number one,
America.
America. Fuck yeah.
That's what we're celebrating on July 4th this year. July 4th. Hey, here's to having the most coronavirus deaths.
Number one in America.
Yeah. Back-to-back World War champs and number one at coronavirus.
Number one in coronavirus deaths by a large margin.
Yeah. Clink Budweiser.
So, but you look at several other countries and you look at the number of just the sheer number of deaths they've had. Doesn't come close.
No.
Now, granted,
not even close.
America does have one of the largest populations. But if you look at other countries with large populations, China, India.
I mean, those are two pretty big populations.
They're much larger than us.
Russia.
Russia, nowhere near us. Now, granted, is China going to be 100% honest with their numbers? Probably not. India probably will. With China,
No.
they're not. But still, like, we're by a large margin, we had way more deaths.
Yeah, we're number one.
Number one, baby. Number one. So, but okay. So I guess this brings us to the president, because we talk about this almost every week. Who do you think wins at this point? Who do you think wins the presidency?
It's too early to tell.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think it's too early to tell. I still think Trump is going to get reelected.
And I've been saying this. I think Trump is getting reelected, but judging by how things have been going in the country over probably the last couple of months,
people are just tired, and they're just like, let's just give Joe a try.
Yeah, they might. And even then, I think the Democrat strategy is Joe's just going to stay in for one term because he just doesn't have it anymore.
He's going to fall asleep.
Yeah.
He's going to fall asleep in his inauguration.
He might. Like they'll
I think
wake
it's
him
also
up. They got to nudge him to make his speech.
He hasn't named his vice president.
Yet? No, he hasn't. Amy Klobuchar stepped out.
Yeah, Klobuchar did step out. I saw that.
Because she said it should be a woman of color. I think everybody at this point is speculating that's going to be Kamala Harris.
Yeah, I figured it was going to be Kamala Harris.
But he just hasn't come out and announced who it's going to be. And
I feel like Joe is going to die and Kamala Harris is going to be the president of the United States.
That'd be pretty sick, though.
That's kind of
honestly.
Is that bad? That's how that's my thought process.
Yeah, honestly,
they're just going to toss Joe in an iron lung.
The two most qualified women of color I can think of, though, is that could be his vice president would be probably Kamala Harris and Keisha Lance Bottoms. And Keisha Lance Bottoms, great name.
It really is the best name in politics.
Mayor of Atlanta.
Yeah, I said that when I first read her name, I go, okay, sounds like a T-Pain music video.
Keisha Bottoms.
Yeah, it's the first thing that popped in my head.
First of all, when you think of Atlanta, right? I think of
Keisha Bottoms.
You think of just beautiful black women with big booties.
Yeah,
and then you hear the name Keisha Bottoms.
I feel like I said, I think T-Pain made a song about her in the early 2000s.
He probably did. It was probably your MySpace song.
Let's talk about Keisha. I think it was.
Keisha.
Yeah.
Woo, 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 woo.
Yeah. Kiss Kiss was actually about her. Yeah. I'm Sprung was actually about Keisha Bottoms, believe it or not.
Wow, it really could have been, man. So yeah, but those are probably like the two.
Didn't think Teddy Pender was going to make it into this conversation.
Teddy Pender ass down.
Yeah,
Tallahassee Pain.
Tallahassee Pain. Whatever happened to T-Pain?
Oh man, he's living life.
Beautiful
man.
Singer.
He is. He
I gotta
really
tell you,
is.
if he never used a lick of autotune, would have been like the best singer and like one of the best singers ever.
Absolutely,
he's got a beautiful voice.
Yeah,
just autotune was in at that time.
Then the dark skin Whitney Houston.
Autotune was in at that time, and to Kanye, it'll never go out of style.
Not at all.
Keisha Bottoms, I love it. I hope she becomes the vice presidential candidate.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
But
just so I can say Vice President Bottoms.
Vice President Bottoms. That'd be lit. Biden Bottoms 20. That's the T-shirt. I'm buying that.
I'm buying it, even if I'm buying it. Yeah.
Biden Bottoms.
Bottoms on Biden.
Oh my God.
There's so many things we could do with that.
Bottoms up for Biden. Damn. Oh my God! They have the inaugural dinner at
I'm just excited
at the Blue Flame at Magic City.
I'm just excited for 2024 when I can finally put the T-shirt together of Dwayne Johnson and Elon Musk.
Oh my God!
Johnson Musk 2024.
The Johnson Musk.
Johnson's Musk. Musk Johnson.
That'd be a weird ticket.
It's a great porn name, Musk Johnson.
Musk Johnson. That's a great gay porn name.
It really is.
Musk Johnson.
Musk Johnson.
Because I imagine that he's I imagine Musk Johnson looks a lot like wood.
Yeah. The wood. Yes.
Yeah, wood.
Of course, the wood.
The wood.
Just
a big muscular dude, huge cat. Huge cat.
Uncomfortably big Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Musk Johnson.
And it has a smell to it.
He's got to have a mustache with that name.
Yeah, Musk Johnson.
If you don't have a mustache with the name Musk Johnson, what are we doing here?
You're definitely, if your name is Musk Johnson, you're definitely a bear, and you've definitely cultivated a musk. Mm-hmm. For the uninitiated boys, cultivating a musk is something that's practiced when men. They build up a smell, if you will,
hue,
a musk, a very masculine odor, and they use that smell to attract. I can't even. They use that to attract a mate. It's an animalistic practice.
Bear, yeah.
Yes, it's a very animalistic practice that these men use. Yes. Cultivating a musk.
We have come full circle.
Yeah.
I'm cultivating a musk. Musk Johnson.
Musk Johnson.
He also sounds like he could be reading sports in the 11 o'clock news.
Musk Johnson.
Sports with Musk Johnson.
Oh my God.
Barry Bonds steps up and whammy! Let that one rip over the right field bleachers. Oh, you know what I did watch?
Okay.
Because I was just thinking about it. I watched that 30 for 30 about Maguire and Sammy Sosa, the Long Gone Summer. It's very good. If you don't like baseball and you want to relearn how to like it, watch that one. Watch that documentary. Because I loved baseball in the 90s. Because baseball in the 90s was fun. Because you had like Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah, he brought swag
McGuire
back.
and Sosa, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the great story of like, Southern California kid, Mark McGuire versus, poor Dominican boy, Sammy Sosa.
Right.
Mark McGuire's been great for like 10 years, and
Yeah.
everyone's like, he's going to be the home run champion. Like, it's
Right,
just a matter
right.
of time. Sammy Sosa, no one heard of, and then just comes out of fucking basically nowhere. Because the journalists of baseball, who are the kings of anointing, said at the beginning of that season that it's going to be a two-man race between McGuire and Griffey, who could get to Roger Maris's 61 home runs.
Yep.
And Sammy Sosa comes in and he goes, "My friend, let me help you. My friend, let me show you
My
something."
friend.
Yes. But his personality just took it over, because everyone said that Sammy Sosa was just really what made him, because even if he was, because it took him half the season to even get into like really the home run conversation, because Griffey was having a phenomenal season in the first half.
Right.
It's his personality just was so much bigger than everybody else's that he became this household name purely because of himself. Like if nobody heard him speak, they would just be like, "Oh, Sammy Sosa's a good hitter." But it's just like, no, Sammy Sosa's like one of the best players in baseball, just because he made himself. He really legitimately made himself. It's a great doc. I highly recommend
definitely
it.
got to watch it. But I can't get out of my head is just Google Sammy Sosa hat. Just Google this for me, just real quick.
Is it gonna?
It is the weirdest fucking picture you'll ever see.
Is it gonna be a dick?
Okay.
Sammy,
It's gonna look like a Caucasian dick, but
Sammy Sosa hat.
yep, just Google it.
Oh God, the pink hat.
Yep.
He's got the skin pigment thing, right? He's got the.
Does he?
He's got the Michael Jackson thing, doesn't he?
Does he?
I can't figure it out because his skin pigmentation is he's lighter.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's weird though, like what's happening to his skin, how he's gotten
Lighter or
lighter over time.
Oh, this is my favorite picture. This is the picture with his wife with a cowboy hat. Did you not see this?
Yes, I've seen this.
He's it's so weird. It's the pink hat and the complexion on his face.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, how did he get
So
white? Yeah. I mean, he's pale.
Even the documentary, like with the hot lights on, he was looking white. Ugh.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
Looked like baby powder. I thought it was...
Yeah, but then you see him in the game and he chocolate. So I don't know. You just see him, you're like, oh yeah, he's Black Cuban. I'm crazy. I don't know. Self hate is deep in certain communities, so I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, boys, we've touched on a lot tonight.
We've heard about a lot of touching tonight, unfortunately.
We've heard about a lot of touching tonight.
Yeah.
We talked about Aunt Jemima syrup. Fuck that syrup. We talked about...
We're Butterworth boys.
Yeah. What did we say we were going to name this episode? Poo Lily?
Yes, strictly for my Poo Lilies.
Strictly for my Poo Lilies.
Yeah, so... So we did make some changes to the studio. We got some new microphones.
Yep.
So
yep.
I hope if you guys got some positive feedback for us, hit us up on our social media, wineboyspod@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Hit us up, let us know.
Tell us you like the sound.
Yeah,
or you don't.
Also, that YouTube page is important.
Yes.
YouTube.com. Search the Wine Boys podcast. We're doing full episodes, but we got to get up. We basically just launched the page and just put all the back catalog. So we need to get up to the 100 subscriber mark so we can actually make a URL. So that would be a big help. Boys Nation, hit that. Just pound that subscribe button.
Pound it hard,
just
Daddy.
Take your crack out and just slap that subscribe button.
Slap it hard.
Or you can just hit it with your finger. That works too.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that.
All right. We will talk to you boys next week. And we will also do other stuff
Yeah.
with our mouths.
Nice.
Okay. Bye-bye.
I love you. Please call me back.